Despite the warm winter sun, the rough seas, waves crashing against the rocks, are throwing up a spray of water along the coast that makes the air chill against your skin. The rowboats that you took from Shepherd's End are rocking beneath you, clacking against the surf, despite the rowing that's taken you close enough now that you can see the silhouette of the sunken ship that contains the supplies that you may need. You know that in these dangerous waters there are saber-toothed tiger sharks that Shalati herself has encountered, and Ava, along with the help of Akai, dissected on the docks of Shepherd's End. Strong and dangerous creatures, and there are many of them, but you've begun to devise a plan that may reduce the threat against your people as you approach. Currently, you are, with the exception of Yev, all of you are still at a safe distance. You are in rowboats close enough to each other that you can talk. Yev is moved up along the coastline. He's got a knotted rope in hand. You can see him jogging along the cliffs above you. You're currently so far away enough that you don't have to worry about the tiger sharks here, but you know if you get much closer that they might notice your presence.
Chris, can you give me an idea about like the division of how folks are in these boats? Do we have, the separate teams in two separate dinghies?
I'll let you decide.
Kayaks,
I'll let you guys decide what rowboats you've gotten into.
Before we separated,
can we look a little bit at that planning convo in character too? Because like I want to share like in character like Peach has this ability and that ability and stuff, and I just wasn't feeling the vibe to do it in planning discussion this week.
Right now is the time for you guys to have discussions. Yeah, for sure. You guys are not in danger. Your boats are close to each other.
I'm going to assume that at this point we haven't yet split into the two different boats, since we're still hauled together for a hit. And Shalati is going to look over at that. Is there any silhouette of the creatures that we can see yet, or is it pretty much just
occasionally now and then in the distance you see a splash of a fin? Nothing's approaching you at this time.
Okay. So I don't think we should get any closer from here until we're like all ready to go.
Hey Doc, can I see that thing that I let you borrow before we went to fight the Arnakis creatures?
Oh yeah, you mean this? And she takes the things that are around her head, hands them back to Esmond.
Thank you. I'm gonna take this away from you so I can hopefully help myself once I get down into the ship. And Esmond's going to start taking apart the mind sharpener infusion that he had crafted and shared with Ava, and he's going to infuse a new item for himself in this downtime while they're discussing their plan.
Sounds good.
Okay. So we might change it, but I was thinking that Casey and me and Sal would do the bait and sort of go around wide out beyond sort of the opposite side of that crescent ridge, and we could set up the bait traps way over there and then meet you guys.
I have a question. Ava, you know when Peach is baking something really, really good in the kitchen and it takes a while for the smell to come out of the kitchen to where you're sitting in the tavern?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that that island is kind of like a door that's closed and it's going to take a long time for the smell of the bait to get around to the fish where we want it? Because it's kind of really, really far away.
Maybe.
I was actually thinking that it's not far enough. I was close to here when I made the tiniest little cut on my thumb, and it still brought some of them over. And they are very fast, they are swimmers.
And the big, or I should say the medium ones are more than what we got to worry about. I was reading my mom's journal, and they ain't supposed to be in a big swarm like this. These are solitary things, at least the littler ones, unless they're mating. So we may have a satchel egg somewhere too.
Okay.
I mean, this.
But rowboats aren't that fast. I mean, if you get into trouble, how are you going to get to safety?
Well, there's not much we can do about it because we have to have it far enough away that it makes a delay. And maybe we could do something different then, and instead of going to the crescent, we could stick along the shoreline and then leave the bait kind of there, and maybe a little bit, I don't know how to say in character, to the bottom right of the map. And then, like, over there, and then you guys can, again, head in the direction, and then we'll open it up and meet you there. And so if they ignore your boat, they should hopefully ignore ours as well, and that should at least lead them away from the big ship. It's further than that crescent ridge, and you know, I mean, if we do get in trouble, we would at least be closer to the shoreline where we have the ropes, and you guys would be headed back this direction. Maybe that's better?
Yeah.
Maybe you can yell up at Yev to accompany you along the shoreline so that if something does happen and you need to exit quickly, he can roll down the rope. And she turns around and like waves up at Yev briefly.
Yeah, he waves down at you excitedly.
Beth claps a hand on Ava's shoulder way too hard. She's like, "Yeah, I just would hate to see you become bait yourself, you know." She kind of grins.
Yeah, me too. But okay, well then let's do that. I was thinking the crescent because it would block line of sight, so that if they're eating the bait, they wouldn't potentially see people getting into the water, but I think that Shalati's point of trying to do it further away might make more sense, so we can do that.
Fish can see?
Yeah. They've got, I don't know how well they can see, but like, they had eyes, so like, I think, pretty sure.
Shalati, please roll an advantaged nature check.
Am I rolling to see if fish have eyes?
Maybe.
Hang on, Roll20 is being very slow. I think my connection is not great right now. Okay, 14.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You remember something your mother said to you as a child. Not these sharks, of course, but other sharks that are sometimes seen in these waters. They might travel miles to find like a wounded fish or blood in the water.
I don't think these are the same kinds of sharks because I haven't heard of sharks schooling around a big animal like this or any monster like this. But Mama, she told me sometimes that sharks, other sharks that can live in these waters, they can swim miles searching for blood or for wounded prey. They are tireless, relentless hunters.
Okay, so even further, you think? Like, it will be... I don't think we'd be able to get back in time to be too helpful. Well,
I think what she's saying is that they smell it from really far away because they can't see it miles away, so they smell really.
Yeah, okay, that
Really
makes
good.
sense. So the positioning of it is okay, but like, just that's how they'll sense it. I got it. Okay.
I mean,
Can only
going
see this
further
far
away
in
might not be a
water.
bad thing, Ethan, but I'm thinking of how fast they moved. It felt sort of like they moved like in water, like the Orinoco's moved on land. So I think there's no way we can outrun them if one of us bleeds and they scent it and come swarming after us.
Well, who all can get away quick? I know that I can disappear a few feet if I need to, and I've seen some of you all do things similar. Would it make sense those be the ones to get in the water because we can get out if we need to?
Well, I've got Asmund pokes his head up from the work area that he's kind of sequestered for himself on the ground. I've got a means of speeding myself or somebody else up for a minute or so, give or take. So I mean, I've got that as an option.
I'm so sorry, Kevin. Can you say that one more time? I was reading something and I completely blanked on it.
Esmond was just saying that he's got I've got a method of speeding myself or somebody else up for a minute, give or take.
Okay, well, like, it's not really a matter of just getting a few feet away, though. Like, we're kind of trapped here with them. There's nowhere to go. We'd have to make our way to maybe the ropes or stay in the boats if that's safe, but like, or maybe one of these little islands, but that's probably like only temporary. But like, I don't know. I think that it's so far and they're so fast and we're probably so slow that escape is going to be, I don't know. I can't think of anyone who could get away, really.
Well, then why are we still considering this? Why are we about to get in these boats? We should scrap it and forget that sunstone. If you're saying this is an impossible thing, why are we even talking about it?
No, it's not.
Getting away might be impossible, but being close enough that you can climb out of the water is not, and we do need these things.
Fair, fair.
There are sandbars and rock outcroppings that we can climb onto if we're desperate enough and things go that badly. But I mean the idea is just for us to get in and get out without any of these creatures noticing us.
Yeah, so, yeah, exactly. So, like, the speed, it's really not as important as just going, undetected, I suppose. So, alright, well, does that sound... Maybe we don't have as much of a plan as we thought, but, like, these bait traps should take a little bit of time. The way that it's designed, they shouldn't be able to eat the stuff right away. It's like a feeder, basically. Like, the chum inside shouldn't all spill out at once, so it might take them, well, hopefully longer than instantly, to eat it. Then, so it should last maybe a little while. I don't know. That's the way it's designed. I don't know how it'll work, but so here, set up, and then we go over somewhere, open the bait, and then the people who get in the water just do it fast and really quiet. And ideally, no one has to run away or fight or do anything. We just have whoever goes down there get the stuff and get back in the boats, and then we just row away.
Shalani, can you remind me when you were going against that earlier one, the one that you were going one-on-one with, did it attack you before you were bleeding? Did it notice you? Like, it knew you were there and came after you, right? Because I'm thinking we might be planning this whole decoy idea if maybe we just go real quiet and they won't notice us at all. We're smaller fish.
I don't know if they would have it. She thinks about this for a minute. I did not get hurt when I caught that other one.
All right.
It did try to attack me, though, when I went to attack it, but I did sort of hit it first. Honestly, I cannot imagine that they would not see something swimming around and try to nip it at least, just to see if it's edible. I will do that in their place. But if maybe you can hide or not attack them, it's possible that they would not try to eat. I don't really know.
I was thinking more of delaying the bait release. Right? Say somebody is going to swim down. Sharks realize, oh my God, there's somebody's over there, and we're gonna go and eat them. But then, then we release the bloody bait, and the sharks go, whoops, actually, let's go eat that instead. I know, it might be useless, but it might buy us a few more seconds.
I mean, sure, we can go set up over there and wait, and then whoever wants to get in the water with the sharks and see if they attack or ignore them first, if you want to do that. It's risky, but yeah.
I mean, I can't swim so well. And she points to her now bulging pockets that are full of pebbles and rocks. I figured I was just gonna walk under the water over there, so, I mean, I'm gonna go from the beach and I'll just sneak up as best I can.
I think it will be very slow. It might be better to just go out there first and then drop down from above. It would be faster to get there than being exposed to them the entire way.
I will sink like a stone.
The other alternative, maybe we get up some coral or look like big masses of plants. Sea wrack.
I think your connection is pretty spotty for me, Briss.
Yeah, it sounded like you said you guys wanted to camouflage yourselves among the coral.
Spend a little bit more time gathering up some kelp or wrack and maybe some coral pieces, and just so that we look different and not tasty. Or the people going underwater.
Okay, yeah. So, do you want to do that here? She looks under the boat. Is there that stuff underneath where they are now, or within sight?
Yeah, the rocks and the coral formations that are close to the cliffs for, say, the first 100 feet or so can not only provide really good cover in terms of sneaking and hiding, but yeah, there's kelp and things like that you could clip. Once you get a little more than, say, 150 feet out, there's much less cover than there is when you're closer.
Okay, so you want to clip it and put it around people or the boat or both?
Or both.
Okay, yeah. Let's get some of that stuff, I guess.
And she looks around at everyone else, if that sounds like an idea.
Yeah, I don't see why not. A little bit extra protection. I'm also, honestly, folks, not eager to jump in first. So, maybe we should just all go for it.
I mean,
feel like the longer
I can always
spend planning.
Your idea of sending a test person is maybe not a bad idea. I could just go in, and if they get too interested, then I run away smoothly.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to do the kelp thing, or just try it without?
Let's try it. Let's try it without to see if No, let's try it with to see if that makes any difference.
Okay.
Uh, I
Bryce, just as a warning, your connection seems to be really spotty right now.
One second. I'm gonna try some things.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll get some kelp and some people that are gonna go down. We'll have it in the boat, or you'll put it on your clothes, or it'll be there and available, and then you will set up the bait over there, and then we won't do anything unless you say, "Oh no, they're attacking, and we should release bait."
Okay. Let me try this without the camera. Maybe that'll help a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, you sound good right now.
Okay. So she's gonna take off her pack and most of her things and just dive down with her dagger and collects, pieces of coral and kelp and etc. Basically, she's just gonna get a wand of coral and then kind of snag a bunch of kelp around it. And if anyone wants to, I guess she'll bring it back up to the boat. And if anyone wants to help, like fashion it into something that's less tragic looking, then.
Okay. Well, it'll take some time to do that. So yeah, Shalati splashes into the water, heads down. While Shalati is doing that, are there any preparations that anyone else wants to make in that time?
Yeah, I guess everyone's gonna cast a few spells. I'll put them in the roll 20, and one of them I'll wait for Shalati to come back up. In character, I suppose. One of the things I worked on would make it harder. It makes your skin like a little thicker, basically. So it'd be harder for you to bleed. I don't know who exactly is all planning on being in there, but I thought Shalati and Kabeth and maybe Sal or something. It would just aid them a little bit.
Just as a warning, if Salinger isn't directly playing tonight, he'll be in a very supportive role, like so.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'll do Esmond. That's fine. Shalati, Kabeth, and Esmond. I'll just put it in there, and you guys will benefit from it. All right. So I'll put those spells.
So the player didn't realize we were going to be starting out on the boats. Can I retroactively upset I left some gear at the Wanderlust and don't have all of my items with me at this moment?
Should be fine. I personally can't remember. Were you playing last session?
I had to leave half hour early.
Okay. Yeah. If you weren't included in the everyone leaving town part, then you can have whatever gear or whatever you need.
All right. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. So, Aid was cast at level 3. It means Kabeth and Shalati and Esmond. You guys will add 10 extra points to your total hit points.
Patrick, did you put it only to the DM, because I don't see anything in the Roll20 chat.
Thanks. Yeah. Did. Let's see one more time. I think that should be visible.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm back, by the way.
You get your soda?
Oh, I've had my soda. I've been going ham on that shit.
Soda, not ham.
Sorry, so Patrick, you said that we had aid, so it says increase by points by 5 for the duration?
And when you cast it at a higher level, you increase it by 5 points.
Okay.
So a
we
total
will
of 10.
We get 10?
And it's not temporary hit points. It temporarily increases your total maximum hit points. So if you get healed, you can be healed back up to that amount, instead of temporary hit points that are just lost. So any temporary hit points will stack on top.
Cool, thank you.
Who's Longstrider being cast on?
Oh, me, myself.
Okay.
Forecasting spells. Did we? Sorry, because I had to step away. Did we determine who is the dive team and who is the on-surface team?
That's what you guys are discussing right now.
At the moment, Charlotte volunteered to get a bunch of kelp and do a rudimentary sort of screening thing and swim toward the sharks and see if they start reacting.
Yeah, she's currently gathering kelps.
Ava had recommended that Sal and herself and Casey would be doing bait things, so they would be in one boat, and people would be in another boat. I think that makes sense, especially if Sal's not really around. He can be maybe in our boat. And I don't know if Isaac would. I assume Isaac will be okay with that. I think we talked about that last time.
I think Isaac. I think Casey and Seyfried are AFK from that.
Okay.
I'm back. And that's cool. Sen should be shortly behind me.
Cool. Yeah, so Charlotte, you finished doing what you're doing. You've got a length of coral all wrapped up in kelp. Is that what you're looking for?
Basically, I think she's just gonna have a branch of coral that she's holding in one hand, sort of like a spiky sword that she's wrapped some of the kelp around, and then she's holding the wrap. She is sort of holding some of the kelp in front of her as like a stringy mass and around her with a spear in the other hand, or maybe a short sword in the other hand. Probably a short sword in the other hand. And she does like a little bit of a nod to everyone else and just jumps back into the water and is going to start walking toward the sharks.
Alright, sounds good. So splashing in the water, you start moving your way, kicking off coral here and there, and working towards the sharks. How close do you want to aim to get initially? How close do you want to get under the assumption that they do not react to you?
Yeah, so she will keep moving about, let's say, 30 feet beyond the cover of the coral once it ends, if they don't react to her. Was that heard?
Yeah, I'm moving you out there. So you start to get just beyond the cover of the coral, sort of leaving where the last little atoll or sandbar, I forget what's the proper term. It's only then, once you're clearly out beyond the cover of the coral, that you see a slight reaction in some of the silhouettes of the tiger sharks that you're approaching. As a whole, the school of them, the mass of them, seem to be kind of circling slowly, meanderingly the shipwreck. And two of them kind of peel away, seem curious, whatever you might be at the start. They're not in a hurry, but they're kind of drifting your way.
Okay. She's gonna back up slowly, just a little bit, a step at a time, but she's going to keep the kelp and the coral wand and the spirits that are around her. So she's trying to have herself sort of encased in this frothing mass of kelp.
Okay.
I think of like a what's it called? A ghillie suit?
Mm-hmm.
It's a nori suit.
Less tasty than nori, I hope.
Yeah, two of them are kind of swimming your way. They're not heading directly towards you. They're kind of a little elevated above you, about 15 feet or so, and they seem to be kind of circling, keeping a distance, but they definitely have noticed you.
Okay. Before she reaches, she's continuing to back up, but before she actually reaches the cover of it, she's gonna stop and stand and wait and see if they approach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see one of them first starts to swim in toward you. Just as they circle you, veering a little closer and closer. Trying to. It's not the same directly aggressive action you experienced before. But it circles for a while, and you see silhouetted against the sunlight coming in through the water, the length, the sway of a big fin. You can see the two elongated fangs that protrude from the mouth. It circles for a while more, and comes a little closer, coming in within 10 feet of you or so. It seems to keep that distance for a moment, circling more. What do you want to do at that point?
She's holding perfectly still.
Okay.
I guess mechanically be the dodge action one.
Okay, makes sense. Roll for me a disguise check.
What sort of... I don't have any kind of proficiency with a tool, so what ability would that be?
Let's call it charisma. It's kind of your ability to empathize with what you think this creature might find interesting or not.
Not animal handle? In the case of a creature?
Well, not for the purpose of what you're doing. Okay. Yeah, it circles for a moment more. It doesn't, as it circles by, it doesn't attack you. It seems to keep a distance. I wouldn't say it loses interest, but it starts to drift off and keeping a distance from you.
Okay. She might sort of, seeing that it's starting to move away, even if it's not necessarily losing a whole lot of interest, she is going to resume her slow progress backward and back into the shelter of the coral.
Yeah, once you've kind of gotten deeper into the coral area, they seem to lose interest in very well.
Okay. She'll pick up the pace a little bit once they've lost the interest and return to the boat, swimming up once she is directly beneath, and just essentially she's just gonna out of the water and cling onto the side of it, still in her seaweed suit. And so people probably
which
just
boat? Wait, which boat?
Let's see.
The boats are so close together; they're pretty much one boat at this point.
The one on the right, bottom right.
Sure.
And clings onto the end of it, probably making it rock a little bit, and says, clears a little bit of the seaweed in from her face, and says, They were sort of interested, but not very. They did not attack immediately, but I stayed very still when they came around. I did move very slowly across it, and a few of them peeled away to look at me, but I think I did not look tasty.
That's good to know that they aren't necessarily out on the hunt immediately. I still think they're swarming here because this is a love nest, but
If
Well,
they knew how much I wanted to eat, maybe they should be afraid of me.
Well, the creature, I think, makes the ship its lair. So if they, given that they school around it or seem to feed off its scraps, that's probably why they're schooling, I think.
Okay,
If it
so
is inside the ship, I didn't see it coming out of it, right? It was just there are pieces of the ship.
It's hard to know. You saw it circle around, emerge like the silhouette of it, break away from the silhouette of the rocks in the ship. The exact interaction there was not visible to you at that distance.
Right now or before?
Now or before.
Okay. But I did see something big
Yeah.
circle
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Okay. Seems like the big one is still around there. So, but at least.
Oh, I'm sorry. I confused the question. You did not see the large one today so far. The previous visit here, you saw the large one silhouette leave the silhouette of the rocks in the ship.
I didn't see the big one. I just saw the sharks. So I don't know why they are still around there, unless maybe it's sleeping inside. I guess that's just something we'll have to see.
okay, so how do you guys want to go forward? Separate, put the boats together, or just leave the bait entirely and just do something else?
I think the bait is still a good idea. Maybe if. So Esmond has to go, right? She looks at him.
Oh, I'm for sure going. I know what I'm looking for this gem, at least. The other stuff, it's general supplies for the village, but the priority for me is finding that mineral.
And Peach has. Sorry, go on.
yeah, I'm going to. I've got the other bag that just, when I was emptying it out, just kept having stuff in it. So it's got a lot of room.
I'm gonna go because, I mean, I can't swim very fast, but I can maybe run along the bottom decently fast. And now I'm weighed down so that I'll stay on the bottom, and then I can run faster on the bottom. And I got my hammer, and I can, and a spear, and can just stab the fish and then eat them later.
Maybe having someone sort of stay near the other boat, the one that goes to the ship itself, would be good, so that the people who are searching the wreck, they can't necessarily see if the sharks are coming back from the bait. So
That's a good plan.
I think she looks at Seifert. Either me or Seifert might be. I don't think it's maybe good to have just one person out there alone, completely ignoring that she just did that. so perhaps both of us there, or maybe. Well, I don't like the idea of just and then Aurea. Given as I actually want to go into the ship, because if we haven't seen the big one, it might be in there. I don't want to leave you two. And she looks at Peach and Esmond to go in there with just Kibeth to protect you.
I mean, Kibeth would protect us just fine.
She can, but she is also only one person and you're two. And I don't know if raising two young children has taught me anything, is that they will split apart and run as fast as they can.
You saying you need me? You need Kibeth, and you got to be me and Ez's parents.
She doesn't
So
say
if we
anything.
split off like fools, you can follow one of us each.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they can take care of themselves.
No. I want Gelati's help now. I'm worried about Ez.
I mean, once we draw off the bait, we're headed your way. And we'll be able to let you know if sharks are coming back from it.
Yeah, who all can make themselves hurt underwater even?
Esmond, I think Casey did it to Esmond and Yev, right? Casey?
Yeah, just the two.
I can send messages just the one way. Or I have message as a cantrip, I can't remember how it works.
So the way that it's currently set up is that O is able to communicate telepathically with Yev and myself. So he would be able to warn us of anything coming from a distance, along with whoever stays on the dinghy above the shipwreck would be able to provide additional warning advance for us. I currently I feel relatively confident. Well, firstly, and Esmond kind of like scatters some of the stuff that he's been dealing with in front of himself. Firstly, I can take decent care of myself. I also don't typically run headfirst into danger, Shalati, and he looks you dead in the eyes.
No, it's all right. I know we got to keep an eye on Schlotty.
And thank you.
What?
My point being that we're not going to go just head first without carefully checking around every corner of what could be in this ship. We will whoever goes into the ship with Peach and I, we will be monitoring every corner, marking every potential route and escape path should an emergency arise. And I will also be communicating with whoever's down there with me through hand gestures or motions should anything come up with advance warning from O.
Kabeth crosses her arms on her chest and just, you can count on me.
And Ez, if you need me to tell everyone, just let me know. And I'll set this off. And he pulls out the little wand that you've seen him fire a few times at Arnox's that makes a really loud noise.
I hate that thing.
If you are going to use that, give Ava fair warning at the very least. That's all.
I mean,
The warning might be him taking it out.
but presumably everyone will be able to hear it underwater.
Beneath your boats, a large swell of a wave lifts you up 15 or so feet and then drops you back down in smooth motion. Wave crashes against the shore, and you can see that Yev has gotten into position over on his side. He throws down the knotted rope down the cliff face, and you can see him working to secure it.
Did that wave seem unusually large for what has been coming before?
No, these are rough seas.
Okay.
So it's a dramatic effect wave, not like a secretly the monster is here wave. Got it.
That was my thought.
Yeah, if the monster was beneath your boat right now, more than likely you'd be able to see it.
So, where do you... so boats go out to ship people. You four probably are gonna jump in the water, go down. Maybe kelp, maybe not. And then, do you want us to set the bait up somewhere else or close by, or not at all?
Probably not close by. I think the hope was to get it as far away as possible.
Okay. Then it will be far away. If I stay with the bait, I can help with that. If I stay with the other ship, if people get hurt, I can be closer by. It just depends on what you guys want.
Yeah, by this point, from the spray of the spray from the cliffs, you're all just soaking wet at this point.
So you guys notice that as the spray flies towards Casey, it's kind of stopping short of him and not getting him wet. He's kind of leaning back in the boat.
Nice.
I think, did we want to get more kelp and coral to make the shape hiders for anyone else going into the water?
I'm sorry, to make the what for people going into the water?
Shape hiders. Hiding suits?
Okay, I got you.
She kind of like flaps the the kelp and seaweed and stuff that's been strewn around her. I think she's still bobbing in the water. She's just been holding onto the side of the boat. So it's sort of floating around her in a big tangly mess.
So, wait, are you guys, I'm gonna guess, with those, you're hoping to, like, go completely unnoticed, right?
Or at least less edible looking.
Because, like, Cyfred, you did that sneaky, like, that thing that helped, I don't know, it's like some ritual or something. It makes it, I don't know, like...
Yeah. The, like the smoke, the twig. It's like a... Yeah, I mean, it's mostly superstition. I don't know how it works in the water, but, like, it obviously doesn't hurt. We should definitely do that first.
Okay. Yeah. Alright, just tell me which boat you guys want me to be in and where you guys want the bait set up. And Casey, I think you have to be with the bait boat because you communicate through the thing, through your head or whatever, and you'll know if the people under the water need it to be released.
Yeah, solid plan.
Okay, you want me to go with you or should I go with the other boat?
Choice is yours.
Okay,
Casey is kind of lounging back in the boat, fully sunk back there, and seems pretty relaxed.
Okay, well, in that case, I guess, go ahead and express.
But if you look closely, you do notice he's constantly slightly moving his hand, and it's in time with the splash of the water that's coming towards him.
You might be safer in the bait boat, and you are the one who made the trap.
Okay, yeah, I'll go with that. That's fine. Araya, I guess we'll stay with you guys, and if you guys get hurt, she can try to patch you up until whatever. Sure. Where do you want to set up? I said far away, but that was too far away, and the other one is like too close to the kelp. Like, where do you guys think?
She kind of gestures vaguely down the coastline for the east.
So close to shore, but like on this side of the kelp or the other side?
I guess. Wait, you mean like the edge of the coral, or?
Yeah, the coral, whatever the thing that Shalati was hiding in.
I think close to the cliff, so that if something goes wrong and they knock over the boat, you can get to the cliffs easier, and Yev can throw down a rope for you, right?
Okay. If you think they'll still go through the coral for the blood stuff, then yeah, we can set up there. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah. What we have, you can see he's already thrown down the rope and he's using the pittons to hammer, ping, ping, to fasten them in. And you can see him, he's waving at you.
Okay. Good luck, I guess.
I hope you're telling him, and she's sort of addressing this to Casey, but not actually like looking at him, about these updates.
Casey cracks a small smile and then glances up towards Yev.
She does look over at Asmund.
And I don't know if I can actually like decide who I'm talking to. I assume it can be like just a one person.
I feel like.
Is it a group chat or a Discord?
I feel like it's a really obnoxious group chat where you're hearing each other all the time.
And to be fair,
it's going to be so present in this episode.
I was actually thinking, it doesn't say that they can talk with each other either. It just says that they can talk with the caster.
Yeah, so
I mean,
we'll I will have
It
to
makes
like
it easier.
relay from Yev to Esmond if need be.
Shalati, Esmond just looks up and just looks over to you, just like, it's been nonstop. Yev won't stop thinking so much. This is it's been an experience.
Wait, is that how it works? Can Esmond hear Yev, or do I have to relay it?
Take a look.
Did Chris not just say that it was like a group chat thing? That was my understanding when you first cast it, at least.
Yeah, I did, but I was actually thinking that you guys were doing a different spell. I forgot that this was Casey's ability. Give me one sec. Let me read this.
But Yev does hear in his mind when Casey glances up to him. How's the view up there? See any big ones?
Interesting. Yeah, I think they have to. I think with this one, they have to talk through Casey. Yeah, and so this, Casey, I can see them. I can see them swimming out in the water. They're near the boat. What do you guys have just been there for a long time? What are you doing?
How many are there? Count them.
Oh no, they just break the surface sometimes. I can't tell how many, but it's. I mean, at least 5. Probably 6. There's at least 6 of them.
5? No problem. Give me a shout if you see the big one.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out. Do you want me to climb down the rope and get into the water and...
Stay lookout for the moment. Nice work up there, Yev.
Oh, okay.
And Casey, in this moment of silence, looks back to Shalade and says, "He's doing great up there."
She turns around and twists around and looks up at the cliff. Slight expression of doubt. And then she's gonna... Oh, actually, and then she looks towards Seifert and says, so do I... Your superstition thing, then should I get more of... She holds up a fistful of the seaweed.
Everything helps. So, yes?
All right. And she dives down and leaves the stuff bobbing next to the steps of the boat. She's gonna go get some more.
Peach will start pulling the costume materials into the boat that she's in.
Yeah, before too long, slimy, wet, green kelp just sloshing around the bottom of your boat.
During this prep time, there is the sound of crackling electricity, kind of a dull light from where Esmond is sitting in his boat, and 3 individual light sources become a light in his lap, and he's holding 3 rocks that have a series of copper and wire coiled around them, and what appears to be like a shard of a jewel or mineral that is tied up in those coils, and that shard is itself lit up, and it is expressing a 5-foot radius of light, kind of a light blue, almost to kind of match the water. Kind of a light blue light, and I basically just created three handheld lights.
Ooh, all right.
Casey, if we start like getting in position, if you and Sal can row, I can try something that I've been a spell that I've been working on, and see if I can figure out where the big shark is, and then you can... Yeah, I don't know if it'll work or not, but I can try it.
I mean, I'm sure it will work. Yeah, Sal and I can roll.
Okay. Are you guys... is everyone ready? Did everyone do all the prep stuff? Can we start heading towards the place to set the bait up?
no, hang on a second. Is everyone back together? Is Shalati back from like harvesting kelp and stuff?
Oh, she went to get more of that. We'll say she's still close by. She's directly beneath the boats.
Close by enough for pass without trace.
Yeah, just for convenience sake.
So as we're taking these last minutes to prepare, Peach goes through her pockets for a second and pulls out a big handful of nothing, but then finally just goes, "Oh, damn it all. Fine, Esmond, it's you." And she puts her hand on him and says, no, make him heroic and stuff. She's gonna cast heroism on Esmond. Thought I had something better in here, but I guess not.
Nice. Is that a concentration spell?
It is, yes.
That's only up to a minute.
Well, then she doesn't do it yet.
Cyfred kind of like stands up in the boat to try to get as much reach as possible, kind of like legs splayed for balance, with a singed piece of mistletoe, a stream of smoke kind of encircling everyone. And yeah, she just sort of like waves it around so that the smoke kind of like covers everyone for a moment, and then it dissipates with the rush of the sea breeze. And Cyfred at least feels a little bit more secure.
Nice. Everyone smells slightly of sage.
Okay. Well, Casey and Sal take the rowboats and just in control of it. And while Shalati's collecting slimy stuff, Ava starts to prepare a spell, doing a bit of a ritual. Starts preparing a ritual.
All right. So is it Salinger, Casey, Ava in one of the rowboats that is now heading to the west? Is that what's happening?
Mm-hmm. I think we're headed towards the direction, in the direction of where the rope is, and we'll figure out where to set up the trap around that area.
Oh, wait. So you're going east.
Apologies. Yeah, I guess east. I guess that's the plan. Stay on the map.
Okay. Towards the
Oh,
ropes?
sorry.
You
I
wanna
thought the
stay
rope
west?
was near us.
The rope is in the middle
Oh.
of the map.
Okay. I was thinking the rope would be near us, and then the bait would be far away from the rope. So like almost off the map, or at least on the other side of the map, like sort of here.
All right. Well,
I think that is what she would have expressed
Okay.
in character.
In that case, we'll do the same thing just in reverse. We can stay where we are, set the traps up here, and then we'll row towards the where the rope is set up in the middle, which is basically the same thing.
Okay. What are you doing right now? What's the first thing that you do in this process?
Let me read through the spell and I'll describe it.
Shalati, you return to the surface. Big armfuls of kelp.
Peach would like take them from her and also hold out an arm to help Shalati into the diver's boat. Do you want to come back up? You gonna stay in there till we're all ready to dip in a few minutes?
Probably better if I get back in. I don't want to accidentally throw them to you by looking too much like a snack.
Peach would help Shalati in.
Ava takes some of the kelp. She takes dips her hands into the water on the side of the boat and rubs it sort of on her forearms and between her fingers. Picks up the kelp, does the same thing, rubs it between her fingers a little bit and starts to sort of smell it. As her eyes sort of closed, and just looks like she's sort of doing a slight meditative state, trying to enhance her senses almost.
That's good.
And then if you want to go ahead and complete it before we do anything, I'll just post what it is.
Okay. Yeah, please do.
So she describes sort of a giant fish, hundreds of feet, or whatever Shalati described it as. I can't remember how big she described it.
How big?
That description will not be enough to locate a creature. You need to have encountered it before, or really know what it is.
Okay, a very big version of the tiny fish. That's what I guess she's looking for. Whatever the shark, tiger shark is.
Okay, so you're looking for one of the tiger sharks that you dissected, but much larger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the spell completes. There's nothing.
Oh, okay. Huh. Well, either the big thing's not a tiger like the small ones, or it's not around here. So, I guess take that for what it's worth.
It's not like small ones.
Oh. Well, guess it wasn't really that helpful. Sorry.
It's okay. You thought of something.
All right. Well, we'll finish setting up the bait traps here, and you guys just start heading towards the thing when you're ready, and let Casey know. We'll release it if it needs to be.
Which direction do you guys begin rowing?
Casey, Sal, and Ava, I guess, are going to stay around the area where they're at.
Okay, sounds good. So you're just rowing to keep yourself in place where the tide tries to pull you in or push you in.
AC points at this spot here.
Could you ping that again? I did not see it.
Shall we head about there and post up?
Sure. Do you want to... We can drop the bait off close to there. I have to be within, about 30 feet of the bait, I think, to activate it.
And then we'll head to the boat.
Okay.
And as Casey says this, he kind of reaches up into the air and nonchalantly grabs at the air, and when he does, a knife of energy kind of forms in his hand, and then he slings it down into the water.
You just did not transmit with whatever you just said in the middle of this.
Which part? Rowing towards the thing? Or the whole thing?
You threw something into the water and then you stopped transmitting.
Yeah, so he grabs the oar, Sal on the other side, and they start rowing. Presumably in a circle.
Okay. Could you use your ruler to show me where you want to go at the end of your destination?
Yeah, and he'll kind of defer to Doc if Doc says to, go one place or the other.
That looks fine, I guess. She just has to be within 30 feet of wherever they drop the bait trap off.
Yeah, okay. But as soon as they start rowing, they start turning in the direction that Casey's rowing on. Because presumably Sal is rolling a lot harder than Casey.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, so
correct.
Yeah, those in the other boat, you see them begin to row, and they move just a bit north and to the east of where you are now, and then they begin holding their position there. And it looks like they're setting up to do whatever it is they're going to do. People in the other boat, where do you want to go?
I think we're gonna head straight north. Unless anybody... So basically north and then sort of around this little atoll. I don't know if y'all can see. This way, and then sort of this way so that they're not in the path of the sharks when the trap gets let off.
Alright, sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
So I guess she and Kibeth will take an oar each, and row.
Claire, remind me, the ones that are going down to the shipwreck are Peach, Esmond, and Kibeth, correct?
And Shalati.
And Araya, I think. Shalatia said that she would go, yeah.
Okay. I'm rolling a d20 real fast.
I would imagine. I guess Araya would stay in the boat. Would that be easier?
That might be easier.
Just to.
unless she goes invisibly with y'all.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Shalati, during the row over, Esmond is going to pull you. He's going to kind of scooch over to you and ask to try and make things. If anything happens, do you want me to cast this thing that I've learned? It should give you a greater sense of awareness of yourself and surroundings. I'd used it on Cyphered before, and I think it worked then. Cyphered, could do.
Yeah, it was great.
Perfect. Yeah, so if you're going to be underwater with us, I figure it might be a good idea for you to, have it.
Are you sure you shouldn't use it for yourself? To help you search?
It's not going to help me search necessarily. It's just, if anything, if we get into trouble, I think it's going to be better for you to have this ability, you or Kibeth to have this ability.
Maybe Kibeth then.
Kibeth, you mind?
Kibeth was eating something from her pocket that isn't full of rocks, and she just kind of looks and she's like, "What? What do you want? What do you need me to do?" Sorry, I was eating.
Just hold still for a minute, and if you'll let him, Esmond will place his thumb to your forehead and his wand to the bottom of your throat, and for the next minute, kind of a sense of haste will kind of overtake you. Not overtake you, but will radiate throughout your body, and I'm casting Gift of Alacrity on you.
Nice. Please, link that to chat.
Shalati,
A feeling of haste is exactly what Kibeth needs.
Now she's like jittering. Shalati puts a hand on Esma's shoulder and says, "Thank you for asking."
Unlike some people.
A splash of espresso. Okay. The other rowboat begins to move towards the north. You pass this, the last, or at least the small nearby atoll. And then you notice several of the saber-toothed tiger sharks. They begin to veer off what seems to be their normal meandering path and start coming towards your boat.
Even with our sneaky benefit?
There's no possibility for the boat to stealth in the current position.
Does it seem like an empty boat to the sharks, though? They're like, it's weird, it's moving by itself.
Well, you haven't had a conversation with them, so you're not sure what they're thinking.
What are they saying in their shark tongue?
Cast Speak with Animals.
Just screaming.
Fun. It's basically Kibeth's inner monologue. Shalati sees the twins coming toward him and says, "Slow down." To Kibeth, who's doing the other row.
You want me to do what now?
Match my rowing speed, and she is slowing down.
Sorry. Sorry, I can't. I just feel the urge.
She's just gonna like push fast and grab the other oar then if she says she can't.
No, I can do it. I can do it. It's fine. It's fine.
Question, Chrissy. Really something that's basically bobbing up and down. Would it be drifting towards the shore or away from the shore? If I just throw out, let's pretend a life jacket right now, which direction is it going to be floating in?
Well, a little bit of both. It'll get carried toward the rocks and then be pulled away and maybe smashed into them, but ultimately kind of drifting to the east.
Drifting a little bit to the east. Okay. Yeah. I think Doc's gonna say let's set the bait up on this side right here. I'm gonna keep pinging it, and Casey, tell me if this is a good spot for you.
Yeah, that works. We can.
Okay.
Casey kind of lets Sal row harder on his side so that we can go around, presumably this way, unless anyone objects. Kind of cut around that corner.
Yeah, so before too long, the bait boat has rowed its way around to the northern or northwestern side of that sandbar. The boat that's rowing north, despite slowing down, you've picked up even more of the tiger sharks. They don't seem to be aggressive, but they've swum closer to you. They seem to be curious in whatever this might be.
Nobody accidentally bleed.
Esmond hears in his head Casey speak, and in Primordial, and he says, "Time for bait yet? Bait time."
Me? Do you need me to do something?
Yev, who presumably doesn't speak Ignan, is just hearing like volcanic noises. He probably heard Casey speak it before, but I don't know if he understands it.
Cool. Sounds good.
You don't need to share a language to communicate.
Damn. Okay, so
He doesn't stop.
hang on.
I appreciate the fact that Pris, out of character, just screwed over Casey in character the way Shalati would like to have.
Fair. Yeah. No, yeah. Yev, you're good. We're just holding till we get the word.
Okay, I'm ready.
Back on the dinghy, Esmond looks visibly irritated. His eyelids are flickering. He's trying to block out the excess noise. I'm never doing this again.
No, you can't. You can't hear Yev. Only I can hear Yev. That's the thing.
It's still an odd sensation having you directly in his mind.
Fair.
He says aloud, "Are we in position yet? Do we want to? Do we want the bait to drop?"
Let's wait a little bit longer and see. They're not. Maybe if they start to attack, then you tell them to drop the bait. But they're
Yeah,
not
we don't want to drop the
doing
bait
anything
too
yet.
soon.
Yeah, we can only drop the bait once, so we need to make sure it'll count.
Yeah, you've started to round the corner in what you had decided earlier would be your path, and one of the sharks vanishes beneath the boat, and then there's the boat rocks a bit. Obviously, something's at the bottom.
Maybe it's just saying hi.
Esmond, in his mind, back to, hold tight. I don't want to hold tight, but we're holding tight. So I'll I'll let you know when, but I don't want to wait much longer.
Agreed. I don't know if you noticed, but it's kind of wet out here.
Is that what all this is? Shit.
You've gotten a bit closer now, and it looks like more of the tiger sharks have taken an interest. You see them swimming and circling. The pace of how they're swimming hasn't really changed. It's a slow, drifting meander through the water.
Steady.
I mean, they all still seem calm. I think we're fine. We'll just take it easy. Just drift along. We're just like a big, mysterious shadow on the surface of the water. No big deal.
Do me a favor, ping for me one more time. Are you headed to the shipwreck?
I think that was the idea, yeah. We want to get as close as possible.
Alright, sounds good.
So less time underwater.
Chris, you can go ahead and delete a couple of those sharks if you want to.
Thanks.
Looks like they're a lot to move.
It is cumbersome.
Chris, it kind of looks like you have a duplication error.
Oh gosh. Okay. You get you're rowing towards careful, easy strokes heading towards the shipwreck. You're beginning to approach the last outcropping of rock from the water that's on the way to the ship. And each of you on the ship, on the rowboat out in the water, there's a tone you begin to hear in your mind. I need everyone to make an intelligence saving throw. It's DC 15.
Both boats or just the
boy.
one that's out there?
Just the one that's out there.
14 fail.
Oh, wow. Somehow a dirty 20.
I rolled so low.
Oh. You know, if we want to use destiny points, now would be a good time to do it, probably.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to burn an inspiration, actually. I don't want to use a destiny point. I'm going to burn an inspiration.
All right, you spend your
Remind
inspiration.
me how to use the destiny point to do that.
Destiny point you can spend in a way very similar to an inspiration. The difference is that you get to decide which outcome you take. With the inspiration, you have to take the new roll.
How many destiny points does it cost?
Reroll is 1.
Oh my god.
Because I don't know how many I currently have, so I know I have at least 3.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have plenty.
I think so too. I just haven't done accounting in a while, so I was like, ah.
If you want to check between turns, it's in the attendance spreadsheet.
Kevin?
Suppose Reyes cast Bless.
Yeah, wonderful consistency. God.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks. I'm really trying.
Say one thing for Kevin. Say that he's consistent.
Yeah, it is really too bad that Jess isn't here. She definitely would have blessed Esmond.
Yeah, I'm going to simplify what Salinger and Array are doing. They're not going to use like regular abilities.
Esmond sneezes. Array's like, maiden bless you.
All right, we have a 17 from Kabeth. Okay. All right, so with a DC 15, did anyone succeed on the saving throw?
Shlotty. And
Shalati
Kabeth.
Weirdly.
and Kabeth. All right, Shalati and Kabeth, you feel as though after that tone, you almost feel as though something has focused on you, and you hear a brief oscillating notes in your head. And then you see the demeanor of the tiger sharks begin to change. They start swimming faster, somewhat more erratically, and some of them approaching toward the boat.
Do you think it's time to drop the bait?
Yeah, can we drop the bait? I mean, I rolled a 4. Can we drop the bait, please?
What happened to The people who didn't make their save, they don't feel anything.
Nothing.
I mean, it's a
Think
happy
it-
boat ride.
I think if that's right, I think it's time to drop the bait.
In your mind, you hear Esmond say, drop the bait now, drop the bait now, drop the bait now.
Please describe for me what happens.
All right. There are two.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Casey is laid back in the boat. He has a dagger of energy in his hand. The dock you watched him pull out of the air, and he's spinning it between his fingers. And he's just lounging there, periodically flicking his fingers to keep notes of water off of him. And then suddenly slams it down into the boat and sits up. Now, drop it now, drop the bait now.
Okay, yeah, okay. And she hesitates for a second and just closes her eyes and opens it back with a wave of her hand, and then a second one. There are two barrels sort of tethered together by a loose rope floating out there, and little doors in each of them, sort of with a small weight, I guess, anchoring out there. Open, partial doors, and one of them has a little bit of water and what should hopefully still be live fish that fall into that little cage area, the little one that they created, so they're swimming around in the ocean water. And the other one just opens up, and the gross guts and blood kind of start to fall out of it. So there are two of them, and all of the living fish probably spill out into the cage immediately, but the small trap door allows for the blood and some of the viscera to leak out of it, but like a pet feeder almost. Some of the gunk and guts don't quite. Oh, Chris?
Well, finish with you.
Sorry, no. Yeah, finish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, start to so some of it just immediately fall out, and other ones probably you'd have to like pull. They're loose inside there. There's just more of them than could fit through the hole all at once.
All right. Yeah, blood begins to taint the waters spreading out from the barrel. Roll, please, if you would. You can use carpenter's tools or woodworker's tools or blacksmithing tools. Please roll DC 10 skill check of one of those.
Oh, man. The only thing I have is tinker tools. I don't have any of those stuff. Damn.
Tinker tools works, actually. Tinker tools.
Oh, okay. Tinker tool. 1 sec. Alright, I will roll that 1 second. Sorry. I don't have it set up.
And you're proficient in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just roll a d20 and just do it manually.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do that because I can't find it on my Oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. Does that roll off of intelligence?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm almost done.
$17, all right. It looks as though everything works as you intended. Fish splash into the little cage that you'd made, and blood's leaking out like a sieve into the water. Let me get you some barrel.
Okay, we probably shouldn't hang around here too much or the blood will get on the boat and the oars and all that stuff. We should row away a little bit.
Fair enough. Casey walks over to the side of the water and does a subtle move with his hand. And when he does, the chum of the water kind of pushes away from the boat. So he's casting shape water to kind of like push the flow of the viscera away from the boat so it doesn't get on it.
All right, sounds good. Shalati?
I think the moment that they agree to drop the bait, Shalate snaps out, "Row as fast as you can!" And she's going to heave and put her back into the rowing so that the boat surges forward. They start coasting toward the wrecked ship as fast as possible.
All right.
Chum's in the water, chum. Esmond hears in his head.
Shalati's given the word. There's blood in the water. Tiger sharks are circling the boat more aggressively. Some of them headed straight toward it now. It doesn't take very long at all for a few of the sharks to begin to veer toward the bait boat. But it's very clear that not all of them are headed that way.
Cool.
And Chris, I think we start rowing straight north, unless Doc has other ideas.
And straight north sounds good.
Can we get any estimate of how many sharks are heading toward the bait versus them heading toward us?
If you had to guess from what you've seen, a little less than half.
Toward the bait, away from us.
Yeah.
Okay. Given as I have blind sight within 10 feet, am I getting a sense of how many sharks are immediately next to us?
Within 10 feet, you start to feel the presence of something close, and then boom, something hits the bottom of your boat, shakes it pretty hard. But just one. Everybody please make a DC 10 dexterity saving throw. And people in that boat.
Does this count as something I can see? Given, I forget what it's called, but the barbarian level 2 thing? Or advantage of dex saves?
Oh, yeah, I think so. That's not just for projectiles or something, right?
No, it's just anything I can see that causes a dex save.
Kate's AFK, just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah, while this is happening, DM Esmond is he's double checking that he's got his bag secured around himself, and he's going to pull the other item that he had infused for himself, and he's going to thread it around his wrist and kind of tie it so that it is secure in the palm of his disfigured hand, and activate it. So for the next hour, I have advantage on intelligence checks and saves.
All right.
Can I ask a not-a-character question on how much Aurea might be willing to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna have her healing people if they get in trouble, but probably not much beyond that. I'll give her a simple ranged healing.
Okay, I'm just wondering whether to try and tell her to do something in character that Gelati knows she can do, but it's fine. I can skip past that.
some
I think, unless
Go ahead.
unless anybody else does anything, she's going to say, keep rowing. We'll try and get over to the ship, and then I'm going to try something, and hopefully, Asmund, you and Peach and maybe Kipet and Cypher can go searching at least for that one thing that we need.
All right. Shalti gives out the word, calling against the sound of the oar splashing against the water. It's then that another one of these sharks veers towards the boat, smashes into it hard. I need everyone to make a DC 12 dexterity saving throw.
Have we gotten closer to the ship at least?
A little bit.
Got your sea legs there, Allie.
So I'm going to use a destiny point.
My gosh, kid.
Guys, I shouldn't have played tonight.
That's
No, this is perfect.
The bad luck's followed you.
Hey!
20.
Hey,
Nice.
your destiny asserts itself.
And despite the boat getting hit hard, nobody falls over. It's only that. Go ahead.
Sorry. Chris, is it safe to presume that Yev is keeping me updated on like movement of sharks?
No, but I'll do that now. Casey, I see some fins. Some of them are headed towards with the barrels. Well, there's still a bunch over by the other boat.
Yeah, how's that other boat doing?
They're rowing. I can see the splashing. I think something might be wrong.
Good work. As we got some taking the bait, but not all of them.
He responds to you in his mind. Don't approach too. Don't approach too closely. Something here aggravated the sharks and agitated them towards us. Just, keep your distance. Find somewhere secure.
I mean, if we need to, we can just hit the water with lightning. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I don't know how effective that's going to be, but for now, just find someplace secure. Keep your distance. I'll keep you updated.
All right. Just as you finish those thoughts in your head, the people in the boat, you see a shape in the water emerging from the shipwreck. Something quite large.
Good news, guys. I can tell you for certain it's not a giant tiger shark.
It's the best news I've heard all day.
You're welcome.
Oh my god.
Holy fucking shit.
The fuck is that?
This is some horse shit.
All right.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh my god.
As the top of it crests the water in the sunlight, you can see beautiful pastel pink and mint green tones. Long tendrils almost flowing like feathers, almost like colorful kelp off behind it, frills from its tail and its fins. You can see...
Somebody tame it, we can ride it.
You see enormous red eyes fixated for just a moment on your ship before poof, it goes under the water. And then there's another hard smack of one of the sharks into the side of your boat. I need everyone to make a DC 14 dexterity saving throw.
Did they make any forward progress?
To where they are now.
Can you? I assume you can only use one destiny point to reroll per something. I couldn't find the rules for it.
Just per instance of a roll.
Okay, so I can use another destiny point to reroll that again.
Because this is a different check, yeah?
And Chris, I think we're probably heading northeast.
Okay.
Maybe in that heading, if Doc's cool with that.
Yeah, it's perfect. And Allie, you get to choose, so don't worry, you don't have to take the one.
I think actually
I'm going down no matter what.
Oh, can I? Oh well. Can I? Oh no, because you can only do one reroll thing per instance, right?
Yeah, unless it's a non. If you have a non inspiration or destiny ability of something else that does it, those can work together.
Is Kate around?
No.
Oh, all right.
All right. Well, for at least, and Kate might have to make a roll when she gets back. But go ahead.
Sorry, actually, can I choose not to use the second roll? I actually want to not have rolled with advantage, so she would actually have made a 13 with that save.
That's fine. Yeah, sure. You can also elect to just jump off. You don't have to necessarily fail.
No, I think she's specifically will have failed that, as she's staring at this creature that has emerged from it. It's the first good sight that she's seen so close.
All right. There's a splash as Shalati and Kibeth hit the water. The boat rocked all the way onto its side. Some of you managed to grab onto the sides or onto the seats beneath you, but you hear the splash as two of your comrades hit the water. We're going to take a 5-minute break here, and we'll come back. Right. From the shadow of the shipwreck, an enormous creature has emerged. Pastel pink and mint with long frills coming off of it and tentacles in the water trailing behind its body, along with what seems to be a powerful shark-like fin. It has multiple gleaming red eyes that seem to be dangerous-looking mandibles at the front of its body. Peach, Shalati, and Kibeth have been knocked from the rowboat into the water by a shark that had smashed into the underside of it. The others managing to hold on. Casey, Ava, and Salinger are rowing as fast as they can towards the north. So many of the sharks have veered away, heading towards the blood that's been put in the water, but not all of them. Some of them are still near the northern boat, swimming aggressively, erratic in their movements. Just moments ago, a strange sound filled the minds of those on the northern boat just before the creature emerged. All right, so we've rolled into initiative here. It's a lot of sharks. I'll try to do them as quickly as possible. One of the sharks veers toward Kibeth and swerves close and is going to take a bite at her.
A 9 does not hit.
And yeah, you feel the scrape of teeth against your armor. Nothing happens. But you are jostled in the water a bit, but it seems to veer away. Another shark veers towards Shalati. Does an 11 hit your armor class?
It does not.
And yeah, there's veers close to you. There's a snap of teeth, but you managed to get just out of the way.
I think she's not even noticing that it's coming toward her, and it, maybe she's still trailing some of the kelp, and it just gets a mouthful of the kelp instead. She's still staring wide-eyed and with horror at the emerging beast.
Salinger's rowing. Alright. Shalati, as years ago, as you splash into the water, feel the immediate cold all around you. Tell us about a time long ago.
All is darkness and confusion. There's roar in her ears, and it is so loud that it's turned into nothingness. She can't think. She can't see. She can't hear. There's panic and terror welling up in her as the waves batter her around, and there's a brilliant flash of light as lightning forks across the sky. A creature so larger than the ship, which she had thought was the biggest thing she'd ever seen, the Diamond. Just a beautiful ship that went on adventures, and this thing, it's enormous in comparison to it. Then over all of that, there's a sun-wrenching pain in her, on her left leg, and her leg throbs, overriding the shock, overriding the fear, and she screams. The only sound, a rush of bubbles comes out of her mouth. And she breathes in at the shock, and water fills her lungs, and she chokes, gasping and spluttering and twisting, her leg caught in this vise, thrashing, just helpless, weak, knowing that her end is coming. There's a brief flash of a pale, not normally pale, but waxen, almost gray in the intermittent flashes of light from the lightning. Just a small face like her own, exactly like her own, and slipping away farther from her. And then suddenly, interposed between them, her mother, and something happens. She's not really sure what, but suddenly the pain in her leg is almost greater somehow than it had been, but she is suddenly free to move for a moment until her mom's arm, like the mama's arm, strong and like a vise around her, and she tries to say something. Fish, fish, fish. But she can't. There's just an iron vise around her lungs, and she only has water. She can't breathe, and she can't breathe, and she...
And as the water all around you bubbles all around your face, obscuring your vision for just a moment, you see a glimpse of Kabeth, you see a glimpse of Tala, and in both the past and the present, just a brief flash of something pink in the water. And it's your turn.
I'm sorry, whose turn is it? It's
Shalati's turn.
Okay.
Can I actually hold my action?
Mm-hmm.
I think she might still be dazed, and so she is probably noticing, but her eyes are wide. And her hand is trembling as she is like slowly. One hand is gripped around the dagger at her belt, the dagger that was one of a pair given to her on their 10th naming day by their father, cork-handled, slightly curving, about maybe half her arm's length now, or half her forearm's length, and she slowly drags it out from the sheath at her belt, but her hands are shaking and she's gasping and trembling underwater. And that's all she will do for right now, and hold her action.
Seifred. Next player will be Esmond after Cypher.
Are the people who fell out of the boat, are they pretty close to the boat, or are they like out of reach?
They're still pretty close. They're about where they're at the surface, about where I've represented them.
My pockets are full of rocks, though. I'm not going to be on the surface for long. And I'm wearing my armor.
Oh no. Down you're going.
Straight down to the bottom. Do not pass go.
Cyphered is going to lean hard over the edge of the boat towards Peach and try to grab her.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, make a DC 12 dexterity ability check. Alright, looks like that 8 plus a 2, you're currently at a 10.
That succeeds because she's a rogue, and you would add the extra, like, rogue bonus, right?
Yes.
Yeah, as long as that's not already in your thing. Mm-hmm.
Right, that's not factored into this.
Alright, sounds good. So 8 plus 2 plus 2, that's going to be a 12. Yeah, you managed to grab on to Peach, stop her from being pulled under.
Okay, and then do I have, would that use my action economy wise? Do I still have a bonus action, or?
Yeah, that certainly used your action, but you would still have a bonus action.
Okay. I will use shadowy tentacles spread across the boat as Cyphered activates her claw tattoo.
Right. Any immediate effects?
No.
Alright, Esmond, you're up. Next player will be Doc.
Esmond is going to run up to the front of the dinghy with Cyphered. So 5-10 feet, however that is. The big creature moved underwater. What is the distance to it currently from my current position? Can I see it?
Yeah, you can see it. It's beneath the water, but not incredibly deep. We'll just treat the current range as what it is.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, feels as good a time as any. Esmond's gonna run up to the front of the boat, and he's going to pull his wand from his belt and kind of twirl it with a flare. And as he does, he's going to drag it in the air as he does, a bright white ring begins to follow until it attaches, and he has created a floating white ring in the air that immediately has glyphs that begin to encompass the outside of it, and he quickly traces a sigil in the center of it. As he does, it presses into the center of the end of his wand, and he's going to aim directly at the creature, and I need it to make a DC 16 intelligence saving throw. I'm casting Phantasmal Force.
Okay. That is a 24 for the Deeplurker. It's going to succeed.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah, as it succeeds, the ring that he just crafted in the air shatters, and Esmond kind of steps back. Oh, okay. This thing's incredibly intelligent. This could be troublesome. And in your mind, you hear, we've been made immediately. The big thing is here. People have fallen out of the boat.
Chris, I think somehow I didn't get rolled into initiative. I'm not in the turn order, even though I rolled initiative on the chat.
Okay, select your character and roll initiative.
All right, thank you.
Make sure you're selecting your icon. Okay, Esmond, anything else in your turn?
I don't... No, that's it.
Alright, Doc, you're up. Next character after Doc will be Peach.
She's looking around sort of nervously, watching as the sharks swim past, headed towards the bait. Looks off in the distance at this horrible-looking creature. Sort of looks over to Casey, almost as if to figure out for him to take the lead and what's going to happen, and she holds her action.
Alright.
Oh, sorry. She'll say to him, like, what should we try to, what should I do? Should I try to hurt or distract things, or the big one or the small ones? And yeah, and then she holds her action.
Yeah, Casey is staring at the giant creature with a grin on his face.
Alright, Peach Pine, you're up.
Peach finishes scrambling into the boat and holds her action.
Yeah, with Cypher's help, soaked in water, you get back up into the dinghy. Yeah, holding on. The enormous creature careens through the water. Let's see how that... It passes beneath the boat, and where Kabeth is sinking down into the water, it veers down toward her. There is almost a build-up in the creature of bioluminescent glow for just a moment, then boom, a pulse. Wait. No, I can't do that on its turn. The bioluminescence buildups from the creature, but the pulse does not happen. Shalati, hand up.
Yeah. I just want to. I think she'll take her turn after it finishes this turn. Her held action, I mean.
You can do that in response to a movement or an action, your choice.
Okay, so when it starts moving toward Kibeth and it makes the bulk of it becomes clear, her eyes go wide, and she takes in a shaky breath, and she says something probably unintelligible to anyone really, because she's garbling it into water. But the effect of it is, you can't take anyone else. No, you have to look toward me. And she is going to cast Enthrall on all of the sharks and the creatures within a 60-foot radius of her.
Okay.
I guess it'll be up to you if they get advantage on the wisdom save, because she hasn't technically attacked, but I think Esmond did, so even though it did fail it, don't make the save. But anyway, let me link that.
Alright, wisdom saving throw.
Only DC 13.
That's good.
Also, I have a query after you've made those saves.
Ooh, looks like it's going to be a failure.
Lucky me.
Yeah, just as the thing is swimming down towards Kibeth, its eyes shift and focus on you. The sharks automatically fail.
Can I use... I realize you can only hold your action for this, but can I use a destiny or use some breaths to use my bonus? I didn't actually do anything with this turn, technically.
To do a bonus, I'm not sure I understand.
A bonus action. Since technically I used my reaction to hold my action, and I just didn't do anything with my bonus, but can I use some breaths to basically use it, despite the fact that I mechanically, by raw, would not?
As you're saying, no, you can't buy an action economy thing, but you could. Action surge will give you a bonus. Oh, I see, but you are off turn right now. Yeah, interesting. No, Destiny can't be used for action economy.
Okay. I think that will be it then for me. Or actually, did she get the sense that she's being noticed, I guess?
Yeah, it worked.
Okay. And then, still muttering, she is going to start... No, actually, she can't move. It's fine. That's it. This worked for me then.
Oh, wait, shit. Okay. Well, you feel your spell work, and then you feel... The spell should have worked, and then you feel something disrupted. You learn from this that this creature is immune to being charmed.
Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah. Her fists ball up, and there's just another incomprehensible yell. Kibeth can probably hear her saying something, but it's even at this distance, there's nothing telling.
But despite the spell having failed in the end, the creature still veers away from Kibeth and goes towards you.
Yay.
Chris, I would like to use my reaction before my turn, because can we say it's the end of the creature? When a creature you see ends its turn within 30 feet of you, you can use a reaction to force the creature to make a wisdom saving throw, and unless the save succeeds, the creature is charmed by me for 1 minute, because I'm using the stone rune.
It hasn't finished its turn yet. It's still on its turn.
Okay. Well, at the end of its turn.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. So it veers away from Kabeth towards Shalati. And it is going to... Yeah, you see its mandibles open. It lunges at you with a kick of its tail through the water. It's going to take a bite. There's a 9 to hit.
That, with a speed as though she's been waiting for this for 10 years, 8 years, she dodges out of the way.
All right, yeah.
Her leg throbs.
Kick and it passes right over you. Slam the mandibles. You can see hundreds of small, sharp teeth rode along the inside of its mouth. All right, that is going to end its turn. So, Kabeth, you wanted to do a thing?
Yeah, Kabeth, even if I got a message from someone cluing me in that it would be immune to this, but Kabeth doesn't know this, so she's going to do it anyways. She's going to invoke the Stone Rune, which would force the creature to make a Wisdom saving throw and be charmed if it fails. It
happens, and you learn that the creature is immune to charm. You feel the magic of what you're doing repulsed by it. So you gained information.
When she was doing this, it kind of looks like her spear starts to glow a little bit, and a rune lights up on it, and it kind of fizzles out. She's underwater, but she's like,
Yeah. I think it's safe to say, in character, Kabeth now knows that this creature is immune to charm. All right. At the end of the Deeplurker's turn, it's going to gain its legendary actions at the end of its first turn. One of the saber-toothed tiger sharks darts upwards, slams into the bottom of the boat. I need everyone in the boat to make a DC 14 dexterity saving throw.
Can I give my inspiration to Esmond?
Yes, if you still have it.
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'll take it.
We tried.
Choice. It's
if
fine.
only I could give you my rabbit reflexes.
Can I use the point of destiny to grab as
no,
the arm?
No, stop. I was not meant to be in this boat. I've rolled dog shit every time. I'm not supposed to be here.
Esmond's meant to be in the water.
Just as a mechanical note, to actually answer the question, no, Destiny and Inspiration cannot be used on the same roll.
I was a water genasi in a past life.
The ocean calls out to you. She loves you.
As the boat suddenly jerked to the side, there's a splash as Esmond hits the water. Kabeth, it is your turn.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Shalati?
Sorry, can I actually have a quick question? So the fact that the sharks auto-failed, is that just because, that did not happen because the creature was immune to being charmed?
I'll say it this way. This in the end result, the sharks automatically succeeded.
Okay, all
right. Okay, so I now see. Can you cast Bless on yourself?
Mm-hmm. You can include yourself, yeah.
So I think the only friends I can see would be myself, Shalati, and Esmond, right?
Right, yeah.
They're the only ones in the water. Okay, so as long as we're all within 30 feet of me, I'm going to use my action to cast Bless.
Yeah, close enough.
Depth. What is depth? I'm sinking down, but close enough. So Kabeth hears a splash above her. She looks up and she's like... you see her concentrate for just a second, and she's gripping her spear tight, and it glows, and a beam of light goes towards, as in another beam goes towards Shalati, and Gabeth kind of glows for a second, and we all have bless. And then you see her open her eyes again. She looks at this giant creature that's now going towards Shalati. She's starts to kind of like get worked up, and she starts to get larger. I'm going to use my bonus action to invoke Giant's Might and get big.
Ooh. Nice. Describe to us changes that Kabeth goes through as she grows.
I haven't really thought about this. So Kabeth sees her friend, and she's concerned, and her emotions well up, and there's like the sound that you can hear in the water is kind of like the sound of metal clanging, like if something was like popping in metal, like ping, ping, like rivets bursting. It seems as if her armor is going to break apart, but it doesn't. It grows with her, and she a little by little, like suddenly gets bigger and becomes a large creature and starts probably sinking faster.
I like it. Yeah. Growing in the water. Probably bubbles coming up around you. You're big Kabeth.
Yeah. Am I above the creature?
Is she riding it?
You're beneath it. I just don't have a way to.
I'm beneath it? Okay. That's annoying. Well, I got bigger. Yeah, I guess I'm not going to intentionally move anywhere then. I'll just continue to sink directly below it. Maybe I'll try to swim just a little towards Shalati's direction.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, you're paddling in the water, hooves just kicking as hard as they can.
Doggy paddle with one hand.
Perfect.
I think my absolute favorite part of players being in the same place as each other is background laughing.
All right. Anything else on your turn? Okay. At the end of Kabeth's turn, Deeplurker is going to use some legendary actions. It's going to use 2 of its legendary actions to release that charge and ability up in its body. So I need pretty much everyone over there to make DC 14 Constitution saving throw.
Chris.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading that damage. I just resent you. I just want you to know that.
Okay.
Peach is going to use a little bit of what I've decided is going to be called Charm and re-roll that.
All right.
Natural 20! I've done something.
Natural 20, you took no damage at all.
Is this a magic thing?
Yes.
Because I have advantage on... Oh, it's saving throws, right? Wait.
This is a saving throw.
Okay, so then I have advantage.
Is this a spell?
It's not a spell, but it is magical.
Damn it.
Yeah, it says spells and magical effects.
Sorry for this is more for me. But...
Alright, if you failed, you take 9 points of thunder damage and 11 points of psychic damage.
I'm gonna guess this is audible from the other boat as well.
Yeah, you hear a strange overlapping of dissonant, almost musical notes through the water, and it's for you like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah. Ava shrieks a little bit, and you see her cover your ears, Casey.
Thank God, Raid.
Alright, so Deeplurker used 2 of its 3 legendary actions for the round. Araya covers her ears, and then she's going to run to the side of the boat. And, oh, maiden, protect you! And she puts her hand in the water, and there's some little, almost like swirling glimmers of light that go down to. Did anyone in the water fail that saving throw?
I don't remember what it was, but I assume that I did well enough.
So, and you said, and it's 9 damage and 11 damage.
Mm-hmm. Peach. You, jeez. You are healed for 3 hit points. Oh, sorry. No, 3 plus 5. You're healed for 8 hit points.
Seifert is bloodied.
Oh no.
Oh,
Peach was nearly after that.
Don't drip.
Yeah, Seifert. Was it like an auditory? What kind of damage was it?
yeah, there's both a loud burst of sound that you hear in your ears. It's nearly deafening, but more than in your ears, you hear it shrieking in your mind.
Seifert cries out, "Ah!" and like kind of collapses down in the boat, clutching, I guess, in the nature of bloodied ears.
Just an important note, even if you succeeded on that save, you do take half of the damage. Unless you got the natural 20 like us. Let's see. Yeah, and then Araya, she reaches out, puts a hand on Seifert. Oh wow, that's funny. Even better with only 1 die. You heal for 9 points of damage. That's the end of Araya's turn.
Thanks. Seifert does not look happy.
Casey, you're up. After Casey, the next player will be Shalati.
Hearing this loud boom, Esmond hears in his mind, I'm guessing that wasn't you. And as he says this, he starts running towards the front of the boat.
Yeah. Casey, here you have. Something's happening! Oh, there's something's come from! The boat's overturned!
Yeah, as he runs past Doc, he places a hand on her shoulder, and she's presumably like huddled, covering her ears and whatnot. And you feel Casey's hand on your shoulder, and it's very warm and firm. And as he's going by Doc swiftly, he says to Salinger, "You got to get us closer." And he runs up to the front of the boat. And Chris, can I see the large creature from here?
No, I don't think so, because those rocks are in the way and it's underwater.
So even if I was like 10 feet in the air, I wouldn't be able to see it.
No, the rock formation in front of you is pretty tall.
Okay. Yeah, Casey just stands up on the bow of the boat there, and tell Salinger to get us as close as he can, and I'll hold my action.
All right. Yeah, Salinger's just rowing, water's being thrown up by the oars. I'll move the boat on his turn. Anything? Any bonus action?
Not unless I can use my cunning action to help row. And
Yeah, no.
but I don't think so.
All right, I'm gonna do a million shark turns. Shark swims down towards Quebec. Does an 18 hit your new armor class?
18 is my armor class.
Oof, yeah, you take 8 points of piercing damage. This thing chomps into you and starts shaking back and forth. Another shark veers in towards Shalati. Does a 12 hit your armor class?
Nope.
Yeah. Passes right by. Another one swims down to Quebec. Oh, so I'm a 20 is gonna hit you. 9 points piercing damage. Another one bites into your side. And one that had already tried to attack Shalati swerves around for another bite. 11 will not hit you. I feel like, did I duplicate that one? Oh, shit. Wait, do me a favor. Somebody who's already rolled into initiative, roll initiative again. Does it replace you, or does it...
Yeah, for me, it just changed my initiative to a different roll.
Okay, good. Phew. I thought I had duplicates of sharks in there.
I'm sorry. What I meant to say is, yes, it duplicated me.
Shark swerves in, takes a bite. Oh, jeez. Well, low roll. 2 points, you just barely get nicked by the teeth. If at some point in here you get bloodied, let me know. Just...
Not yet, but getting close.
Are you rolling concentration for all this?
For bless, right?
Oh, wait,
I should need to roll 4 Constitution saving throws, right?
Currently 3.
What do you have to hold concentration on?
Bless.
Oh, I thought Araya. Yeah, for some reason in my mind Araya was the one doing that, just because that's what I'm used to.
I also can bless
I
us.
wish.
Thank you. I have a divinity of my own. It is the divinity of the Forge.
Nice.
Is the divinity getting bit?
Forge is a sacred place, Kate.
Okay.
You have holy experiences when you create.
Ellie, why does one of your characters worship work?
Makes sense. Okay, yeah, we'll roll this out. I'll let you handle that. Doc, you are up.
Oh. No, it definitely is not me.
You re-rolled initiative.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
yeah. I'm back at 14, so if you can put me back where I'm supposed to be.
Oh, yeah, I put you back at 14.
Okay.
Oh, did it reorder it?
It might have done that. Apologies if that... We just went through, I guess, all the sharks and whoever the first player character, right?
I mean, we can skip all the sharks.
Well, yeah, we just...
Wait, Chris, if I'm rolling a saving throw to see if I get to keep bless, do I get to have bless apply? If it's on me?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Who was the last player who went?
I think me.
I think Casey held his action, and then you rolled for a million sharks.
We were somewhere in the 20s, that's all I know.
Well done, Bless.
Oh my god. By the skin of your teeth.
Yeah.
Okay, Charlotte, you're up.
Okay. As the creatures start swarming in toward her, her head snaps up, and she draws the short sword that is ensconced somewhere within this tangle of weeds that she still has kind of floating around her. And she begins to scream in a way that is most unlike the usual way when she enters this focused state of rage. This time she begins to hack wildly, actually, at the creature in front of her. So she is going to rage, and then she's going to reckless attack.
All right.
Oh, and she's going to sneak attack. For fairly poor damage, but 9 piercing. I assume the 18 hits it.
An 18 does in fact hit the creature. You sink the blade in. Alright, anything else?
That is it for me.
Okay. Salinger is going to move the boat. Yeah, he's still rowing hard.
Can I see the big guy from here?
Yes, now you can.
Like I can actually like CC him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so can I see Esmond in the water there as well, or just?
Yes.
Yeah, Casey is standing on the bow of the boat as they round this little corner of the rock atoll and sees Esmond there and the giant creature underneath him. And he stands up tall and he says, "Hold on, Ez. You got backup." And when he stands up there, he holds his hands up. And yeah, we'll do that. One sec.
Does it look like Casey's about to attack this creature to Ava?
Yeah.
Alright. In that case, screw it. I'll go ahead and fire. She sees what he's doing, jumps up, throws her fingers in the direction, and will, guiding bolt. So, use reaction to cast.
Okay, well, that'll happen after Casey.
Oh, damn. Alright. Well, in that case, it's too late.
Yeah, I want to cast this, but I have to be true to Kate. So, you hear snap in one hand, and then snap in the other, and the balls of fire appear in each of his hands, and start to kind of undulate through the different elements: electricity, water, some strange black energy. Doc, you're probably seeing all this. And he stands up tall, and then slings one and slings the other at the tail of the creature, kind of keeping it away from Ez as much as possible. He should be able to hit the tail there if that's visible. Yeah, range is 90 feet, so.
Give it a roll.
And he is winning this spell. And he will use sneak attack damage too. $18 to hit.
18 hits.
So
So one is, you typically have to pick two different targets, but you were targeting the tail with one of them, right?
two different targets for twin. Oh, I do have to do two different target.
I'll let you do it, but one of them has to target like the tail specifically.
Well, I mean, I can just not twin it if that's...
Okay.
Unless the tail is a separate entity like a ray.
Well, for large creatures like this, if you want to target like a part of them, I'll let you do that.
Okay. Well, yeah. First one goes at the tail. It is either thunder or poison damage. Let's try poison damage. So it will take, I believe, 18 hits.
It does.
Okay, so it takes 14 poison damage and plus 2. Generic damage.
There's no type for the other one.
It's just for the same poison damage for the entire...
Yeah, I think it's
unit,
poison
isn't it?
for all. Yeah.
All right. Poison damage is effective.
So 16 poison damage plus my sneak attack, which I'll do. We'll do 2. Another 11 sneak attack damage. The second bolt comes in as well. This will not be at the tail.
The first one was at the tail. Let's switch them because I already did math for that one being at the body.
Okay. Ooh, do they have separate HP points? Okay, so that one's at the body. This one's at the tail.
Okay.
The other bolt comes in as it's cascading through these different elements. And as it flies from Casey's hand, it's still rapidly moving through the elements. He does not know what it's going to be.
$18 hits.
Another 18. 2 or 6. Cold or poison. I know poison's effective, so we'll go for poison again.
Alright, so total 13.
So total 13 poison. Can I use sneak attack dice again on this?
Once per turn.
Once per turn, okay. Yeah, so another 13 poison damage flies in and strikes the creature.
Alright, sounds good. Yeah. 2 bolts hitting different parts of the body. Both seem to be effective.
Yeah, Casey is standing up tall on the bow of the ship after tossing these 2 balls of energy. And he looks back at Doc and Sal and is like, we gotta get in there. And grins at both of them.
Alright.
That's my whole action.
Seyfried, you're up, and then Esmond.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say she's just a second too late. She watches, I already said it, so I may as well continue with it. She sees as Casey's doing this, it automatically hits. She's just a second too late. Throws the guiding bolt at that. And misses, probably. 12.
Man, there's a splash in the water, and the light seems to be just off by a few feet.
It does 2 different bolts. Can those be the same target or 2 different targets always?
Oh, yeah, because yours, in fact... oh, wait, do you not have the custom spell text that I put in that?
Hold on, let me put it up. Here it is. No, it specifically says 2 creatures, so never mind.
Yeah, 2 different creatures.
Okay.
You could treat the other tail as a second creature.
Sure, let's do that.
Okay. So make another attack roll. Ooh, that one will hit.
Alright, tail is just 2 of these almost firework-looking things fly out right past Casey on the other side of him. One heading towards the body, dips into the water, disappears, nothing happens. The other smacks into the tail and illuminates it.
Alright, sounds good. Does not do damage, but the tail portion of the creature has a slight glow about it. I can't mark that, so you'll just have to remember.
Okay.
Esmond, you're up.
No, Seyfried was out.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Seyfried is up, then Esmond.
Yeah. Oh, God. Can any rogue use a potion as a bonus action, or is that for a specific subclass?
It's only thief.
Okay, gotcha. How much healing does a regular potion of healing do?
I think it's 2d4 plus 2.
Okay. Seyfried pulls out a small clear tonic with like a sprig of rosemary in it, and she will drink it. It is Evo's replenishing tonic of easement.
Nice. Okay. Anything else on your turn?
Okay, so I get 8 points healing total, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I would like to use steady aim as my bonus action. I can see the huge creature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cyphered will drink the potion and get her bearings for advantage on the next thing. I need to put it into my thing to send it into the chat. I will do that right now.
Okay, sounds good. Just because I can't remember, double check to make sure that a bonus isn't just till the end of your turn, though. And if it is, you can do something else. But Esmond, you're it.
Did you have one more thing, Cyphered?
Yeah, I don't want to use it this turn. It does.
Okay.
It is for the attack on the same turn.
Okay. Do you want to do a different bonus action? Or, yeah, different bonus action. Oh.
Yeah, she will take out her torch and use Shillelagh as a bonus action.
Yeah, Shillelagh's a bonus action.
Yeah, I'll Shillelagh my torch.
All right, that sounds good. Now, Esmond, you're up.
DM, would you please remind me what the rules are for ranged attacks in water?
They can't go beyond their normal range. You can't do an extended range attack.
But I don't suffer any disadvantage for a ranged spell attack necessarily.
I know you do for weapon attacks. At least I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Charlotte, you posted the rules for that recently, right? Do you remember?
Spells are not affected.
Okay. Then verify something for me because it is a tight squeeze. The shark that I'm currently highlighting, is that within 5 feet of Kibath at the moment?
Yes, that one's engaged in melee with her.
Okay, so that settles what I'm going to do. Okay. Esmond is going to dive 5 feet underwater. And move and swim kind of underneath the boat so that he has range of the big creature and the two sharks here. Kibath's kind of out of the range, but before he does anything, this entire time he's been watching Kibath get hammered from all different sides, and he's trying to use his divination ability to see if he can alter anything, but nothing is happening, and he keeps pressing it and forcing it, and he feels.
Chris,
Mm-hmm.
you said I was underneath the creature.
Mm-hmm.
So he can't see me then, right?
Well, it's moving around. It's attacking Shalati. It's moving its tail. So I'm giving you guys line of sight on these kind of things.
Okay, just wanted to make sure because I was like, I don't know if he can tell what's going on.
Is she still within 30 feet of me?
Oh no, because she's sunk on her entire turn. So sorry, I didn't realize it was a 30-foot range. I want you to.
How far down is she? Because if I swim down 5 feet, like at what point is she within 30 feet of me?
Mm-hmm. Let me give you a quick answer here. Let's see. Kabeth, you happen to know off the top of your head your excess weight or how far you'd be falling?
I shouldn't be overweight.
Oh, here, I don't.
I wasn't in. I can't be encumbered, but I also I was well under in terms of equipment. Like Beth has like a few equipments, but she's wearing heavy armor and she has rocks that are now boulders in her pocket.
Right.
Very large.
Let's just do a quick estimate because so it's you can carry 10. What's your strength modifier?
Hold on one moment. Not I'm on my laptop, so everything's fiddly. I mean, my carrying capacity is 240 pounds.
I just need your strength modifier.
3.
Okay, so 15 to 20. You can do up to 25 pounds over of just glass, metal, and stone, though. Just glass, metal, and stone before you even have to roll anything for sinking or swimming. And I'll tell you what, it's going to take too long to figure this out if we don't already have it. Here, let's just say, yeah, Esmond, if you swim down 30 feet, you'll be in range.
Okay. That's much deeper than that. It's fine. It's fine. This doesn't change anything. Shit. Yeah, Esmond will swim down 30 feet, seeing Kibeth is in trouble, trying to use his divination ability to help her at all, but nothing is happening. He keeps trying to force it. But then he feels something building up in his chest, and he grits his teeth and opens his eyes, and he can see Kibeth just barely within reach of him. And Kibeth, you sense a sense of vigor unfamiliar to you. Until the you have +2 to AC, extra 10 movement, and an extra reaction till the end of your next turn.
Nice.
Esmond has no idea what he's just done, but you feel invigorated suddenly. And when he releases this energy, he opens his eyes, he sees that he has the creatures and the sharks in his line of sight, and he's going to pull his wand, and similar to the other spell that he performed, he's going to draw a blue circle, a blue ring that glows underneath the water, and as he draws it, it begins to harden and crystallize and become ice. As he completes the ring, the glyphs appear. He draws a sigil in the center of it, and the ring shrinks towards to the end of his wand, and it releases a cone of cold. I am casting Rhyme's Binding Ice.
Calculate that for me, please. Or wait, you clicked Phantasmal Force.
Oh, pardon me. And I should be angled in such a way that I can avoid Kibeth getting caught in this. And I'll need the big creature and the 2 sharks to make a DC 16 Dex save.
Alright, well, you discover something terrible, because as the cold energy rains through the water, it just freezes the water between you and Kibeth. And the creature doesn't reach them, forms large chunks of ice in the water. It has no effect.
Alright, well, I did the main thing I wanted to do. That's my turn.
Alright.
The creature is right next to him, right? I mean, the big one.
Not if he swam down to be where Kabeth is. I'd like to be in range of Kabeth. Oh, I actually clicked it, but Doc, it's your turn.
All right. Paint for me a picture really fast, DM. What am I? What can Ava kind of see from the fish and the boat from the angle that I'm at right now?
Yeah, you see shadows beneath the water. You see, I think Shalati's near the surface. You probably see some splashing there. You see the silhouettes of sharks moving about. Kabeth, you see a larger than it should be. Maybe it must be the water. Down far below the others, with Esmond trailing just behind, and some sharks swarming around her as she sinks.
Okay. Does anyone bleeding openly right now?
Is anyone clearly bloody? I think.
No. Okay. Hold. Okay. She readies an action. She holds her action.
All right.
Speaking of bloodied, though, I think, or no, never mind. For a second, I thought I still had the bloodied token on, but I'm not bloodied anymore.
Yeah, you did. I just took it off. Peach Pine, it is your turn. But actually, to put some orders on that, so you learned from this, Esmond, that ray, cone, or line attacks, cold damage underwater will just freeze the water.
I think he went AFK.
Okay. Well, probably anyone who saw that would learn that. Peach, you're up.
Okay, could I please have a quick rundown of what we found this thing already resistant to? And by this thing, I mean the big one. We saw it was resistant to...
Peach might not necessarily know.
Oh, fair point. In that case, Peach would go with a spell she has done before, and she's going to, kind of holding onto the edge of the boat and glancing back at Cyfred and seeing Ava praying to herself, not Ava, excuse me, Rhea praying to herself. Peach starts something that sounds a little bit like her own prayer, but more like a really, really rapid, bad rap. So very, very fast in the Hamilton style, but not well put together. But it's dissonant whispers, so she'll cast it on the giant creature.
All right. Yeah, click that spell for me. Alright. Okay, and it's going to make a wisdom saving throw. Does an 18 succeed?
Oh, yes, it does.
Alright. So I believe it'll take half damage.
Yes. So what do I have to do? 3d6 psychic damage. Okay. Five.
Alright, 10, which would be 5, and you also learned this creature's resistant to psychic damage. So it takes 2 points.
Peach is going to use her movement to kind of just get to the other side of the boat. And then, I need to do some quick math. Can she Misty Step onto this, like, atoll?
Well, you already cast a spell, so your cantrip has to be
right,
there.
yes. Sorry, no worries. Yeah, it's a bonus action, but yeah, I did already cast a spell. Alright, I will just then move to the part of the boat.
Alright.
And all set. Also, I might have to call it soon. It's getting pretty late. I think 11 o'clock is when Allie and I have to go to bed.
Okay, sure. Sounds good.
Play till then. Or at least I will be able to play till then, excuse me.
Let's see. At the end of Peach's turn, the creature is going to use a legendary action. It is going to arc its body, swipe its tail upward toward the ship. Everyone on the ship is going to have Go ahead.
That takes 2 legendary actions, right? And it used 2 for that pulse on its last turn.
Oh, yes, you're right. No, cannot do tail. It's going to do the bite attack. Thank you. It's going to bite attack on Shalati.
It has advantage on that. And that will hit.
Alright. 15 points piercing damage and a DC 14 con save, please.
So it will be 8 points with resistance, and let me do my con save with advantage because you're on T. Oh man.
Are you blessed?
That's with the bless. That's 13.
Oh.
I might use a. Is it too late for me to use a destiny point to make it re-roll the bite?
You would have had to do that before your save, but you
Okay,
could re-roll your save.
Yeah. I might re-roll my save then. Just one more roll?
Yeah. You pick a die and replace it.
Man. Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, so I rerolled the d20, but that doesn't include the bless roll, does it?
No, you would keep the same bless roll.
Okay, so that would be a 15. Then.
There you go. Succeeded.
Yeah. So it's just 8.
Yeah, there's a murky, almost luminous yellow liquid that starts to seep from the bite, and you can feel it burning, but it doesn't affect you. Okay. So at the end of Peach's turn, so now it is the Deeplurker's turn. Refreshes legendary actions. It is going to... Yeah, now it's going to do the tail swipe it was trying to do. So it arcs its body and then swings the tail up as it kind of shifts itself in the water towards the boat. So everyone on the boat, you're going to have resistance to this, any damage you take from this. Just so you know. And you have advantage on the... you have advantage on the saving throw that you'll have to make.
Because we're basically standing on a gigantic shield.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we're making dex saving throws?
Yes. So this will be a rare peach ciphered.
And advantaged, correct? Or no, advantage
Yes.
is not.
Advantage on the saving throw. So that's a rare peach ciphered in that order.
And then if you make the save, then what happens?
Nothing happens in terms of the effect. As part of this, it's going to seem irrelevant, but the prone part is the part that I care about.
Debating whether I want to re-roll this. Yeah, I think Peach is going to use a point of charm and go again. Do another try?
Okay. Yeah, you can.
Thank you.
Alright, I think that'll do it. Alright. So, yeah, even if you're hit by the attack, you take you have resistance to the damage that happened there. If you made the saving throw, you're going to land in control of yourself. But as the tail arcs up, it smashes into the boat, sends splinters of wood, destroying the rowboat, throwing you all into the water. If you made the saving throw, then you land like in control of yourself. If you didn't, then you're kind of fumbling and upside down and considered prone. But splinters of wood go flying, oars go flying, smashing into the nearby rocks. The ship is crippled, pretty much destroyed. That ends the creature's turn. Its eyes are still fixed on Shalati, though. You see one of the sharks turns and starts biting into Rhea. The next player will be Kabeth. I'm just going through some sharks.
How do we calculate swim speed? Is it just the same as our regular movement?
Yeah, if you don't have a swim speed, it's difficult terrain.
What if you have mobile?
It's interesting. Yeah, I think maybe for the mobile... let me think about that. I think... Well, when I say it's difficult terrain, it works mechanically the same way, but I think it's just when you swim 10 feet takes 5 feet kind of thing, but it's not the same thing as like rocky stubble beneath you or something like that.
I don't have feet. I have hooves. Swimming is going to be weird anyways.
But Kabeth, it's your turn.
All right, Chris, where in relation to everything going on am I in the water column here? Have I reached the bottom?
At the end of this turn, I reached the bottom. You're 60 feet down.
And what is within reach of me?
3 sharks.
All right, those sharks are going to get stabbed. Let's see. Let me think about what I want to do. Sorry. I will stab at the one closest to me with my 2-handed spear.
Alright.
And there's going to be extra damage because of Giant's Might. Does a 15 hit?
15.
I don't know why it's advantage. Ignore that. It should be 14. Forgot to turn off advantage.
Are you still blessed?
I am still blessed. Okay, so I should load.
Yeah, 15 would not currently hit, but with a bless, even of a 1, makes a 16, which hits. So is that 5 points of piercing?
Yes, hold on. And then I also add some from Giant's Might. 1 second. I have to like shift through screens on this computer.
Sure.
I add an extra 1d6 damage. Let's do more damage.
Alright. So for a total of 7. Is that the one most on your left?
Sure. Doesn't matter.
Cool. Sounds good.
Let me just make sure there's nothing else I can do.
Alright, yeah, you stab your spear into that creature. You can feel it penetrate the tough hide. Effective damage.
Yeah, I don't want to use any of my special things on these guys. And I only just hitting the bottom at the end of this turn. I guess that's all I'm doing.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm prepared to land upon the bottom, and then I will do something once I hit the bottom.
Okay. Alright. Araya, the shark's biting her, and she's bopping it on the nose. She's trying to swim her way backward toward the rocks. Another one of these tiger sharks starts to swim down towards Kabeth, but it's got a little ways to go. Casey, it is your turn.
A question: Are we assuming the body and tail have like different health pools?
Yes.
Okay. Casey stands up tall on the bow of the boat again. And yeah. He says kind of to no one, but audible to those in the boat with him. Other boat's trashed. They're in the water now. As you hear in your mind, poison seems effective, but let me know if you want me to drop the thunder. And he stands up and snaps twice again, each hand. And this time the balls of energy are more focused. They're green and bubbling. And he kind of cracks his neck a little bit, focusing on the body. And I'm going to use the ability here. Since he hasn't moved.
Ooh.
So I'm going to have advantage on this attack since I'm not moving this turn. That's my bonus action. And he leans back and full force chucks this ball of green energy at the body of the creature. There will be sneak attack damage if it hit.
Alright. It's a 15 and a 15.
Double 15s. Doesn't hit, does it?
Do you want to keep those?
No. What does the skill say, Crit? What does the skill say? I'm going to use... Hang on. Alright, I'm going to use one of my conflagration points to reroll it.
Alright. You'll get to take the higher of the rolls. No. Can anything save it?
No, not this.
And yeah, bolt of energy
But-
veers off and smashes into the rocks.
Casey cracks his neck again, chucks the other piece at the tail this time, which I think is also advanced because of the guiding bolt.
Oh, yes.
Alright. And sneak attack will come as well when it hits.
18 does in fact hit.
That's 12 points of poison damage plus another 5 points of sneak attack damage to the tail.
What's the total?
17 total.
All right, doing effective damage to the tail. And what type of damage was that? You said poison?
Poison, yeah.
All right. When the spell hits, there's a pulse of color that goes through the creature. It takes full damage, but it learns the chromatic orb spell, and it is now resistant to poison damage.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be my turn there.
Alright. I worded that weirdly. I worded that as advantage, but it's resistance. Anything else on your turn?
Nope, not this time.
Alright, it's going to be some more sharks, and then we maybe have enough time to give Shalati a turn, and then you want to call it for tonight? Alright. A shark is going to take a bite at Kabeth. Six, and then going to hit you. Feel this tiny shark biting on your arm.
Kate's singing the Baby Shark song to me.
I need to tell them that. That was for your ears only. I need to hear the Baby Shark variant.
Another shark swimming, taking a bite of that. 13 isn't going to hit you, is it? Just scrapes of teeth against your armor. A third shark biting at Kabeth. More teeth on the armor. Nothing's getting through. A third shark joins the frenzy on Shalati, swimming and taking a bite. Does a 7 hit you?
Does not. Does have advantage though because I reckless attack last time.
Oh. Thank you. Oh, a dirty 20.
20 definitely will hit me, sure.
6 points of piercing damage.
She barely seems to notice it.
Alright, Shalati, it's your turn. Flashes of pink in the water above you. Sharks swarming.
Okay. Man, the player in me is like, you gotta retreat, but the character actor is like, So I think she is in a little bit of a frenzy, and she is going to fling herself again toward the enormous eye and the mandibles. Short sword in one hand, dagger in the other. whirling and striking, stabbing through the water to hit at whatever she can of this enormous beast in front of her, still screaming coherently.
Alright.
So that is a reckless attack, regular attack, and then a 2-weapon fighting bonus follow-up. And she is going to use a sneak attack.
Alright.
Oh, sorry, that was sent only to GM, but
Oh, I can see it. That's a natural 20.
hell yeah. Oh, wow, that is a full on both the plus and the regular. So that is a 12 plus 14. So that's 26 damage on the short sword on the first strike.
Ooh. Alright, yeah, you drive the blade in. Recoils in the water a bit, sending ripples up on the surface.
Can I use a destiny to reroll the second attack?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the second one misses.
Okay. Yeah, the second one scrapes along thick creature's thick hide.
I think she is going to work her way. Is she on the surface of the water or no?
You're close to the surface, if I recall.
Okay.
Because you're not wearing armor, right?
No. Huh. Alright, I'm just gonna do... Yeah. So she's sort of like bobbing at the top, and I think she's just... No, that's it for me.
Alright, sounds good. Okay. And I know Allie and Kate, you guys needed to both kind of go, and we're right at 11, so yeah, that'll be... We'll end that here for tonight. This massive creature in the water looming over Shalati. She's driven a blade deep into it. Sharks swarming around. That's where we'll pick up next week. Good job, guys.
It'll
Good
be
job.
fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No one died yet.
No.
Success.
So,
I'm sorry, guys. That was I did so poorly.
It's
I'm
okay,
bummed.
Kevin.
I'll just go retrieve what you need and stomp some sharks. It'd be great. It's gonna be great.
Oh my god, as Kabeth just walks there and gets the sunstone, sharks just bouncing off her
Shake.
armor.
I've got other things. I'm not worried yet. It'll be
Just
fine.
engages and casually walks away.
I want to see what happens in a world where Isaac remembers that Casey is also lucky.
I thought I didn't say anything. I was wondering if you were going to use that. I was like, "Are you lucky?"
Yeah, I totally forgot.
Oh,
Unlucky.
Oh.
Unlucky.
Next time. All right. Good night, everybody.
Night, folks.
Good night.
Hi, guys.
Good night. I'm out of here too.
Adios.